Welcome back to the Emmy Football Buzz. What a first half here at the stadium. The energy is absolutely electric. We're seeing some incredible plays tonight.
All of this was delivered to us on the 9th of December 2022 in the most violent game in football history, the quarter-final between Argentina and the Netherlands at the 2022 World Cup. This game was so heated, it was dubbed the Battle of Lucelle. And this battle didn't just start in 2022. Argentina and the Netherlands have a long-standing rivalry which dates back all the way to the 70s. These guys almost always meet at the World Cup. They met in the group stage in 1974, the final in 78, the quarter-final in 98, group stage in 2006, semi-final in 2014, and most recently, the quarter-final in 2022. The 1978 World Cup was hosted by Argentina, and it was alleged that there was a lot of political pressure, much of which favoured Argentina.
But this battle didn't just start in 2022. Argentina and the Netherlands have a long-standing rivalry which dates back all the way to the 70s, and every single time these two meet, something unforgettable happens. They met in the group stage in 1974. Then came 1978, and that's where the wounds were cut deep. Argentina hosted the World Cup, and whispers of political pressure followed the tournament like a shadow. Argentina won the final 3-1, snatching the trophy and denying the Netherlands their first ever World Cup title. The Dutch never forgot it. Then 1998 arrived, and so did Dennis Bergkamp. A 90th-minute winner so brilliant, so devastating, it's still regarded as one of the greatest goals ever scored. The Dutch had their revenge, and the rivalry had its masterpiece. 2014, a semi-final, 0-0, penalties, Argentina through. The Dutch, heartbroken again. But here's what makes 2022 different from every single clash before it. The man in charge of the Netherlands that painful night in 2014, Louis van Gaal, had retired. He was done, finished, gone, until he wasn't. Van Gaal came out of retirement for one last dance, and he was bringing every single grudge with him. Van Gaal didn't come back just to coach. He came back to settle scores. And before a single ball was kicked, he'd already fired the first shot. In the build-up to the quarter-final, Van Gaal looked the world in the eye and said it, Messi is Argentina's weak link. Not a tactical observation, not a calculated mind game. A declaration of war. Argentina heard it, every single one of them. You have to understand something about Argentina, Messi isn't just their captain. He is their identity, their pride, their everything. To call him a weak link wasn't just an insult to a footballer. It was an insult to an entire nation. And nations don't forget those. They respond. The atmosphere walking into Lucelle Stadium that night was suffocating. Both camps seething, both sets of players carrying decades of history on their backs, and now, a deeply personal provocation on top of it. Then the referee stepped onto the pitch, Mateu Lahoz. A man known across football for one thing, he does not hesitate. Fingers always hovering, cards always close. The most volatile rivalry in World Cup history. The most personal build-up imaginable. And the most trigger-happy referee on the planet. What could possibly go wrong? For the first 30 minutes, you wouldn't have believed any of it. No brawls, no chaos, no explosion. Just two elite teams, ice-cold and razor-focused, cancelling each other out with surgical discipline. Chances came and went. Messi went wide. Bergwijn went wide. Lahoz watched, waiting. And then, in the 35th minute, Lionel Messi did something that had no right to exist. A pass. Just a pass. Except it wasn't just a pass, it was a defense-splitting laser that carved through the Dutch backline like it wasn't there, finding Molina in behind, who finished without hesitation. Argentina 1, Netherlands 0. The stadium erupted. And Messi, he simply walked away, like he'd done nothing remarkable. Like he hadn't just produced one of the greatest assists in World Cup history. For a moment, everything felt controlled, comfortable, safe. Then the 43rd minute arrived, and the volcano that had been quietly building underneath this game finally began to crack. One card, then another, 4 bookings in 5 minutes. Players snarling, tempers igniting, the discipline that had held both teams together for 40 minutes, evaporating in seconds. The first half wasn't even over yet, and something told you the worst, or the best, was still to come. The Netherlands came out of that tunnel for the second half like men who had been told their careers depended on the next 45 minutes. Because for Van Gaal, they did. The Dutch intensity was suffocating. Tackles harder, pressing higher. The Argentine defense, so composed in the first half, now under siege. This wasn't football anymore. This was a street fight with a referee present. Then in the 71st minute, a foul on Acuna. Just inside the box. Lahores pointed to the spot without hesitation. Messi stepped up, ice in his veins. He sent the goalkeeper the wrong way and rolled it home like he was in a training session. 2-0, Argentina. The tie looked dead, but what happened next had nothing to do with football. Messi turned toward the Netherlands bench, toward Van Gaal specifically, and slowly, deliberately, cupped both hands to his ears. A gesture borrowed from Argentine legend Riquelme, the man Van Gaal had nearly destroyed at Barcelona. A message that needed no translation. You called me the weak link. Look at me now. The Dutch bench erupted. Van Gaal's face darkened. Messi had just poked the bear. And the bear was about to wake up. The bear didn't just wake up. It came for blood. The Dutch threw everything forward. Wave after wave. The Argentine defense scrambling, desperate, hanging on. The tension inside Lusail had become something physical. You could feel it through the screen. Then the 88th minute arrived. And everything broke. Paredes won the ball with a foul. Rough, late, unnecessary. But that wasn't enough. He stood up, looked directly at the Dutch bench, and volleyed the ball straight into it. Not accidentally, not carelessly, deliberately. What happened next was unlike anything World Cup football had ever seen. The entire Dutch bench erupted, coaches, substitutes, staff, storming onto the pitch toward Paredes. Argentina came flying in to protect their teammate. Bodies colliding, shouting, shoving, players falling to the ground. The touchline had become a war zone. Lahores was drowning in chaos, cards flying in every direction. Yellow after yellow after yellow. The fourth official powerless. The coaches screaming. The crowd absolutely delirious. When the dust finally settled, 19 bookings. A FIFA international record. Burned into history forever. But somehow, impossibly, the match still wasn't over. 10 minutes of additional time went up on the board. And Argentina were about to discover that 2 goals is never, ever, enough. Van Gaal had one move left. And it was a monster. Wout Weghorst, 6'6", a man built like a siege weapon, thrown on with one instruction: get in the box and cause chaos. It worked immediately. 83rd minute, a beautiful cross from the right, and Weghorst got to it before anyone could react, powering a header past Martinez. 2-1. Suddenly Argentina's legs looked heavy. Suddenly the Dutch smelled blood. Suddenly Lusail was shaking. Argentina held on. Barely. Desperately. The final whistle was seconds away. It was over. It was not over. Deep into stoppage time, the last breath of the match, the Netherlands won a free kick just outside the box. Klaassen stood over it. Nobody expected what came next. A disguised, delicate pass cut through the Argentine wall and found Weghorst, unmarked, impossible, unstoppable. 2-2. The stadium detonated. Argentina stood frozen, staring at each other in disbelief. Van Gaal punched the air on the touchline. The man they'd written off. The man Messi had humiliated with that celebration. The man who came out of retirement for one last dance. He was still dancing. Extra time. And not a single soul on earth knew what was coming next. Extra time came and went like 2 teams terrified of losing everything in a single moment. Chances created. Chances wasted. Enzo Fernandez hit the woodwork in the dying seconds. The football gods, it seemed, had decided this would be settled from 12 yards. Penalties. The great equalizer. Except nothing about this shootout was equal. Emiliano Martinez had other ideas. From the moment that shootout began, Martinez turned the penalty area into his personal theater. Talking, pointing, laughing, getting inside Dutch heads before they'd even placed the ball. This wasn't goalkeeping, it was psychological warfare conducted in front of 80,000 people. And it worked. He saved the first Dutch penalty. Then the second. Argentina converting coolly at the other end, calm as if the world wasn't watching. Then, something no one had ever seen in a World Cup shootout. Frenkie de Jong's teammate Denzel Dumfries fouled Lautaro in the box, earning 2 bookings in 60 seconds. Red card. During a penalty shootout, the crowd couldn't believe what their eyes were showing them. The final kick. Lautaro stepped up, scored. Argentina were through. But the chaos, the confrontations, the words exchanged, the moment that would break the entire internet, that was still 30 seconds away.
Hey everyone, everyone. Great to see you here at the stadium. If you love football, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more from Emmy Football Buzz.